Alright, welcome back to Following Live, where we're going to pick a couple markets, a currency and a futures market, and follow them live throughout the month. We've stretched it out to 2 months. Maybe we'll even add a stock at some point. And so last month we looked at the Swiss, the USD Swiss for a currency, and silver futures. Right after we did the video, volatility, we had an immediate jump in volatility, which pretty much doubled as the world got a little crazy. So let's see what we can learn from this. Now, I purposely, in the last Following Live, wanted to just grab a small section and let the swings carve out and unfold. And so here's where we left the Swissy. So if we're following live, let's remember, this is an exercise for us to follow markets, not tell them what to do, not expect things to hold or not hold, but just as a reminder of what we're doing. We're just looking at swings, okay? Just a new low confirms the high, meaning, well, the buyers gave out. It's got an intention of down. And we're looking at them relative, meaning, even if it's a smaller swing, same thing, a new high, a new low confirms a new high. It's swinging. The market does nothing but move and swings. And this is a reaction leg, this is an impulse leg. And what we do is we just measure the reaction leg as a reference point, as a gauge to project price. And this is what median lines do, by the way. They're just describing swings. So I call it following live because we want to follow. We want to follow as opposed to lead. You always have to follow a market. It can do anything it wants. It's an interesting exercise just in setting your mindset in following a market. A good attitude to adopt is that price is never doing it wrong. It's doing what it's doing. You need to follow them and then make decisions. Let them move you. And so I designed this kind of exercise not as a setup, but as a way for everybody to be able to map markets and then learn from their mappings. Have price actually teach you, because you're never going to learn how to trade by following instructions from anybody on do this here, do that there. It's very situational. And so this is a way to learn how markets move, how swings swing, expand, change. So let's see what happens in this guy. So we beat the major. Just a reminder, the largest is the major, next largest is the minor, and we're going to do that by the reaction leg. Okay? So we beat the major and we are working our way up. We always want to get curious. So this was our last major. So even though the major got beat, as in up here, you're kind of curious, does it take out the high? Right? Just because it took out the length, we also want to know, can it take out these sellers here? So a lot of times price can go from trending to actually beating the trend, but never even taking out the high. It's just marking out time, doing something else. Alright, so as price comes down, we watch it, never takes out the high. Now look at what we have now. This and this. You guys see? We have this and this. Or we can say this and this. Either way you cut it, price is in this situation. A high and a low. Okay? A high and a low. It's made a larger swing, a larger leg. And in order for one of these to get confirmed, it has to be taken out. And what you'll find when you see this, right, it's in discovery. I said that in the previous video. Price is going to be discovering. You'll find that price can often chop around quite a bit, doing little swings inside this controlling high and low, and it's easy to get chopped up. So we have this high and we have this low. Whoever gets taken out wins. And we can pretty much ignore everything else. Now, listen, okay, this guy gets taken out by a little bit, doesn't count. Right? We want a swing to be taken out like swing takes you out. Swing takes you out, right? This is just a poke. This is a please move, right? It's just a poke. And so at this point, we're pretty much just watching that. So what we're witnessing is, a market kind of basically going into a range. And this is a beautiful thing to learn how to deal with. All right. Now, although there's going to be swings inside of this, you'll see there's swings. There's swings. There's swings. And there's trades. It can generally get a little bit choppy. We just kind of follow and wait for a swing to get busted. This is the beauty of this. You don't have to sweat all this little stuff. It's tradable. But you see, this is where they've stretched it to, right? Hey, we're not going any lower. Hey, we're not going any higher. Let's see who wins. Now we have a low. Okay, so now we have a swing. So this was a good challenging couple months to watch swings as volatility increase. So now you're going to mark. Every time price pulls back, we're going to find our major and we're going to find our minor. That's going to be our minor because it's the next biggest. And so anytime price pulls back, you're going to measure both of these and get curious. So price gets to the minor and turns. So the minors are turning. And don't forget to engender a curiosity with this. When this thing turns here, we know it turned at the minor swing, but get curious. Right? Maybe draw a box and say, what horizontal structure had anything to do with this? And so there's learning you can do in this. I teach this. It's called an alley-oop in our language of markets. But I'm just asking you to foster your own curiosity. All right, so anytime price now turns, we can see price is on a trend, right? You can see that by drawing the line. You follow the minors and majors. And they're not that far away from each other. Okay, so price turns at the major. Now see the predicament we're in. We're doing this. Let's forget about the minors now. I want you to be able to look at this ugly looking market and see where we're at. Reaction leg, impulse leg. Reaction leg, impulse leg. Now this swing is trying, okay? And we can take this. Let's forget about these minors. They're done. That's what we're doing. So now you see what happens when a market turns. It makes a lower low, lower high. It's trying to make a lower low, but changes its mind and goes the other way. Just like this. And often this is what a median line is going to show you. It's going to look like that. And this is often the place to look for, what we call the try trade. It's a dangerous trade because it's going down unless you have some sort of reason or confirmation. And you can see if we draw the model, take messy price and draw on price, you can see it looks very similar, right? Price comes up, hits the median line, price comes up, hits the median line, comes down to its next parallel, comes down to its next. So when price is going to turn, this is often a place it's going to turn at. Generally price is going down here. So we can use swings for, say, a confirmation that we're turning. So I'm just going into the swing lessons a little bit more. So price is going down here. We can still use swings to say, all right, I have a swing now, right? Boom. New low. And I could use this as a confirmation for a turn, like that. So be using a smaller swing to get into the bigger impulse leg. And you can see it's just median line work. All right, so remember, this is all about what we can learn from these things. And I'm trying to help us learn as price goes. So you can see the general thing. When price does a turn, it will often do something like this. Zoom, retest. And this in itself is like a median line. All right, so let's look and see what price does from here. So now price is breaking. So what do? We're going to follow it this way. So now price is breaking. And so if you notice that this was an impulse, reaction impulse leg, but once price turns, this becomes your next reaction leg. And that's current. Okay, that's where we're at with this guy. But it's interesting to see price make that turn from down to up. And so now we're going to be watching this neighborhood, see if it wants to pick it up there. So this is our current map. So just to clean it up now, I just wanted to go through the following bit. A lot to learn in all this mess. So just to clean it up now, we now have basically swing, swing. And we're going to be looking at this. I'm going to be looking at this pretty seriously in the coming week. All right, now let's look at silver. Okay, silver. We left it off right around here. Price was getting pretty juicy. I said we're going to let price discover. We set out a swing. And volatility just went crazy afterwards. But still, we'll follow what we have. We marked this little press here, marked a little gap here. So now this becomes our next swing to look at, and we want to be curious what happens here. Price goes right through that, so it's doing something different. Okay, again, we want to know if it beats the low. It immediately spikes up. Now look at what we've got. This is swings growing. So now what we have, all right, we've beaten this. We literally are in this situation now. We have a high and a low the same way we started. It carved out a bigger thing. We don't know who's going to win. You can play inside of this, but it tends to get a bit choppy, especially when volatility just went a bit nuts. The market is discovering. So I pretty much ignore everything inside of this. I want to see. It's curious we landed in our gap though, huh? Okay, now we make a new low. Now what can we do? Now we can turn around, say we have a swing that big. We could even do the minors, which would be what? Maybe this guy. That's the minor. So this is now the major, this is the minor. And again, this is a following exercise, not a setup. So that's current silver. And it looks like it's beating the minor out. So this is the path current silver is on. And you know what? If it changes from down to up, I will change again from down to up. But this is looking a little bit juicy in here. So that's current silver. And if you want, you can follow these small swings. Part of this exercise is when you have a major, you know, the next level, when you have a major swing, to go ahead and follow the biggest swings within that major. So that's current silver. A bit messy, and remember what I said earlier, when it comes to markets, when they get crazy and volatile, trade easy when it's easy. Alright, so I spent some time on these. Now let's go look at some markets to map out. And since we're going to stretch these guys for a couple months, I'm going to bump the time frame up to 240. So this is the S&P E-mini. Alright, so let's pick a frame. I don't want to go too far out. So let's just use this. Okay? We'll just use this guy. Right here. So if we use this, we want to just mark out swings. We want to say, okay, I got a new low. We beat that. Okay. Now price is climbing. Now remember what we did before. We take this, and this becomes our new swing. Right? The hardest part with people doing swings is when they transition. I mean, it's nice if the market always just goes one way, but it doesn't. We have transitions. So now let's mark these guys out. This guy got really organized off the bottom. Did a swing about yay big, did a swing about yay big, did a swing about yay big. We have a very organized behavior, very continued behavior with these swings now, don't we? So I love it when the market goes into a very continued behavior, because now we can see if it continues that or changes that. As we move forward, we're going to follow the major and we're going to follow the minor, just like that. And then also get curious, you know, what horizontal structures the major might land in and what horizontal structures the minor might land in and which ones the major might land in. So this is our map. This is our map. And if you can do this, you can draw off median lines very precisely. So for instance, if you were drawing off this, see, price reaches the median line, that's drawing off the minors. If I was to draw off the majors, I'm going to use the major swing. Alright, so what did I say next? We're going to look at the Aussie. All right, let's do the Aussie. So we're going to bump these up to 240s, okay? So let's take the Aussie here and map it. So you want to just look for swing highs and swing lows. If I give you this as a frame, we're going to go like this. Oh, there's a low, there's a high, there is a reaction leg, there is a reaction leg, there's a low, there's a high, there's a smaller reaction leg, and we can see what it did with the smaller. It beat it. So we forget about that for now. Now, as the major is crawling its way up, follow the swings along its path, like this. Alright, so we have a major downward leg to look at as price approaches the gap in here, and we have a upward leg. So this is our map. We'll take a picture of that. So this is a 240 Aussie, that's current, and that's about it for now. Okay, so we have our maps and we'll see how they work, and remember to just use these very simple techniques to not just trade but to learn, to let price teach you, so you can get into the bloodstream, the rhythm of it.